Hello, I'm Andy Norman, founder of Antek Automation, and welcome to Quick Tips, the show where I take one real problem facing small businesses and give you something practical to do about it. Today's problem is a familiar one. You keep hearing the phrase AI agent and everyone seems to assume you already know what it means. Your inbox is full of people selling them. Someone at a networking event mentioned one last week, and you nodded along because it felt like the sort of thing you ought to understand by now. So let's fix that clearly in plain language with no fuss. An AI agent is software that perceives information, makes a decision and takes an action on its own without someone sat behind it pushing buttons. That's the whole thing. It is not a chatbot. A chatbot is a decision tree dressed up with a friendly face. You press option 1, it gives you a list, you press option 2, and if you go off script, it falls over. An AI agent understands what you actually said. It can handle accents, half-finished sentences, people who don't know exactly what they want. It works out the intent, checks what it needs to check, and does something useful. Books the appointment, sends the confirmation, updates the record, escalates to a human if something is outside its scope. All without anyone in your office lifting a finger. So, 3 practical points I want you to take away from this. First, the difference between a chatbot and an agent is autonomy. I spent over 30 years in field service, mostly managing complex jobs that involved a lot of moving parts, a lot of phone calls, a lot of admin that fell on people who were already stretched. What I kept seeing was good businesses losing work, not because they did a bad job, but because they missed calls, or they were slow to get back to people, or they ran out of capacity at the worst possible moment. An AI agent handles the inbound. Someone rings at 10:30 on a Friday night, the agent takes the call, understands what they need and books a time slot, or takes a message or tells them exactly what happens next. The caller gets a proper response. Your team gets the job in the diary without having done a thing. Second, the best place to start is wherever you are losing time to predictable work. Not everything suits automation, but if you can write down the steps a human takes to complete a task, an agent can very likely follow those steps. Viewing requests for an estate agent, inbound inquiries for a dental practice, after hours calls for a plumber or an electrician, lead qualification for a solicitor who doesn't want their front desk overwhelmed. These are all tasks where the volume is high, the pattern is consistent and the cost of missing one is real. Start there, prove it works, then expand. Third, integration is what separates a useful agent from an expensive gimmick. An agent that cannot talk to your calendar, your CRM, or your email system is just a slightly fancier way of taking a message. The value comes when it can actually do the thing. Check a slot and book it. Add a lead to your pipeline. Send an SMS confirmation, flag an urgent call for a human to pick up. That is where the time saving becomes a revenue impact. So before you commit to anything, ask one simple question. Does this connect to the tools I already use? If the answer is no, or not easily, that is a problem worth solving before you go live. I have been doing this long enough to know that the businesses that get the most out of this technology are not the ones who jump at the newest thing. They are the ones who start with a specific problem, measure what happens and build from there. That is not exciting advice, but it is the advice that actually works. If you want to dig into this properly, the full write-up is on our blog at antekautomation.com. It covers how agents work under the hood, real examples across industries, and a step-by-step guide to choosing and deploying one for your business. Worth a read if you are starting to think seriously about this. I'm Andy Norman, this has been Antek Automation. Find us at antekautomation.com and I'll see you on the next one.